on.
Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. We are powered by the Overtime. Maybe that was a little That was a little too much. We are powered by the Overtime Podcast Network. What is going on, guys? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on the Twitter and the Instagram.
What is your puberty powered by that's going on right now?
I had a thing.
It's okay. That's all right. My name is Brooke. You can find me at BrookeMe3 on Instagram and Twitter. And I am not going through puberty, I think, probably.
But things are still going through bad times in baseball. We're going to be talking more about the Astros Scandal, the fallout from the Astros Scandal, and we're going to be joined by our friend. He flew in. Boy, his arm's tired, but he's not actually joining us live. But we're going to be joined by Big Swing podcast host Cooper. Mr. Cooper Surles. He's going to be joining us. He is an Astros fan, and you know he's got some takes, and we're going to learn about them all together. We also got to talk about Arenado-Gate 2020 because Nolan's...
There's a lot of gates this offseason, you know that?
Nolan is big mad over there in Colorado. And plus, booing in Anaheim? We all debate. We got to give our jacket away.
Your jacket.
Yes, my sweater jacket.
Yeah.
We are announcing the winner of our... What was it? Retro jacket? Anyways, the one like Lasorda used to wear back in the good old days.
Yeah.
And there's going to be so much more. But first, of course, we have to give a shout out to our friends over at Sportscaster. Yes, at Sportscaster, you can be the star of your own show. You can, with built-in studio graphics and access to special events, you should look like a pro and you should sound like a pro. I could just read the damn thing. If you'd like to live stream and game or be your own broadcaster, visit sportscaster.com today. That is CASTR.com. But, of course, after our live stream,
you can put it on the board.
Yes.
Yeah, please do it after the live stream, guys. We got a lot to talk about. We got Cooper that's coming up here pretty soon. We are going to talk Astros because, you know, I think that's what you do nowadays in baseball. I don't think you can talk about baseball without talking about the Astros. But we are also going to talk about Arenado, which is going to be very interesting because there's a lot going on in them Rocky Mountains. A little rocky in those Rocky Mountains, if you know what I mean, guys.
I don't understand.
Don't forget, guys, this is a live stream, so make sure you drop us in the comments where you're watching from, where you're representing Dodger Nation from, what you're drinking, what you're thinking, what are you wearing tonight, whatever.
I got beer and I got Rockstar. We also got our first comment of the evening was Sharky Boy. Said hi. Hi, Sharky Boy. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. We got Michelle Carter, says, thank God. Need some Blue Heaven in my life. Thank you so much. Look at that.
You see
a couple of points.
SD Dodger throwing out Sean Figgins got robbed.
Bless up for Sean Figgins. The Hall of Fame has no idea what they're doing. How can Shoney Figgins not be a Hall of Famer? That one vote that Jeter didn't get better have gone to Figgins.
It better have it. If it didn't, it better have gone to Brad Penny.
One person voted for Brad Penny. That is embarrassing.
I think Brad Penny is a voter.
Yeah, he voted for himself. Jaime or Jamie Rivera over on Facebook says, best part of the week. Thank you. We appreciate that. But it has a weird face. Nice. It's a weird emoji. But
it's like it looks like me when I smile. It's just very painful.
All right. Well, obviously, there's a lot going on there. Charles wants to know if I'm okay, and that's very subjective. Like that would be a lot.
We got somebody, Candido Perez, watching from San Antonio, Texas.
Oof. Thank you for joining us. We're going to have fun together. Let us know about how you feel about them cheating Stros. But before we dig into everything good and all the stuff that we want to talk about or we need to talk about, we got to announce the winner. I'm going to get it out of the way early. We're going to announce the winner of that retro jacket giveaway. And the winner is... Do I have a drum roll?
Do a drum roll, but I don't know how to.
Here. I have it. There's no... The worst part is the most anticlimactic drum roll.
That's the end of the drum roll.
Stacy Deshaun Price of Dandridge, Tennessee. You have won a sweet Tommy Lasorda style retro jacket. So what you're going to want to do, there you go. Email us at podcast@DodgersNation.com to claim your prize. You're going to want to do that within the next 48 hours or else we're going to send it to the Wolves. There's a good chance that happened. But be sure to email us using your own email account, the one you entered with, so we know it's you. That's for our next giveaway. Well, we're giving away, what is it, a bundle deal? I guess we're calling it. What do you got?
Oh, sorry. Brooke's wife is asking for a shout out.
Mrs. Me 3. We're glad you're alive. We are giving away this sweet, I think it's on the screen. We're giving away a Dodgers ball cap and it's actually a really badass hoodie, sweater thing, whatever the kids call it. So it's a bundle.
I have the picture.
Yeah,
There you go.
That was your cue.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was too
When
busy,
I said we have a button for it, I was hoping that would happen. But
There you
anyways,
go.
that is now active. I think that it's active. So go to DodgersNation.com/giveaways, and you could enter to win that bundle deal package thing. You have until 12 p.m. Pacific time to enter, and it's I need to update that part, but February 4th, the next 2 weeks, you guys have
after the Super Bowl.
After Super Bowl.
Yes.
After,
Would you call that
after Frozen on Ice?
After Frozen on Ice?
No,
All
Frozen on Ice is
All right.
on Saturday.
All right, guys.
Not Sunday.
Oh, okay.
We're boring
Still
everybody,
after.
and I'm sorry. Like, we're not boring everybody. We're having a good time. We're
I
drinking.
am,
We're
my
here. We got our Astros trash can. By the way, we're going to paint that orange and make sure to get it going right. But on to the good stuff.
How did you do that with only 2 hands?
Magic.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start with where we last were at. Like last week doing this, because since then Alex Cora was fired, James Loney and Sean Green came out pretty much kind of talking shit about him. I don't know.
Carlos Beltran lost a job.
Carlos
Beltran's
Beltran
niece became famous.
Carlos Beltran.
alleged niece.
Yeah. John Boy started a company off this.
Well, he just got a better office.
He just got a better office. Yeah.
Like, why don't we get John Boy money? Like, that dude, that's like $1 billion office in NYC. This is hey, you
We're
guys should
in South Pasadena. What are you talking about?
Oh, man.
We're going to do a tour soon.
Oh, we got the buzzers.
Hey, don't show them the ceiling with the
We
holes.
got Buzzergate.
There was Buzzergate. There's Justin Verlander's
Is Burner
Burner
count?
whatever. There's so much that went down. So I don't even know where to start. Like, honestly,
I love
there
this
was
year.
FanFest,
I love
Astros
this year so much.
FanFest. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of talk a little bit about this together. Everybody here is it's sort of another version of group therapy, and I mean, unless something else breaks alarmingly big, we're probably done with Astros talk after this week because we got a season to worry about at this point. But
You might be done. Huh?
Astros FanFest was a buzz over the weekend, as I like to say. Man, there were interviews. They got Bregman in front of a microphone, and they, for some reason, awkwardly put 2 rookies next to him. And media had nothing to say to him. But, oh, by the way, Gail asked if contributors can win the giveaway. No, sorry, Gail, you cannot. But,
She can get Korean barbecue when she gets out here.
But I do owe you a beer, if I'm not mistaken. So when you're out here, win in Rome.
Also owe Gail a beer. So,
And this is that
cheersies.
beer. But... yeah, Altuve. So obviously, social media. I think most of you guys, if you guys are watching us, you understand how social media works. So they had a really shortened version of the Altuve, not the Altuve, the other guy, the Bregman interview.
The other short one.
The Shorty,
Yeah.
your boy Shorty Bregman, and Breggs, bless her heart, was given. I feel was given very, very implicit directive to not say anything, to only if anybody asks you anything to do with the past, this is the line you need to say. And it was a bad line, and it was uncomfortable. I don't know if anybody's watched the full interview. If not, I think I tweeted it on my Twitter. It is... I don't know, man. It is torture might have been less painful.
Any interview that you do where you can feel the tension, you know it's bad. And you know when media is even like, we're kind of out of questions to ask you at this point, dude. It's kind of awkward here. Like you can tell the media was like, yeah, you're not giving us anything and you're not making yourself look good. So we're probably going to stop asking you questions before you bury yourself somehow.
The last time I saw an interview that awkward was Dwight Howard and Stan Van Gundy. Remember that?
Hey guys, it's wait, I have the button.
That's a throwback.
It's No, I thought I used to have a button that was like
This one.
there it is. Yeah.
Yep, that's that one.
Didn't I have a throwback button?
Basically, what he said, if he didn't say it, is the commissioner did their studies, and the commissioner found what the commissioner found about our team.
And
He didn't say
Astros
our
did.
team. He
Yeah.
didn't say anything about us or we or
He
or
said
our organization. He said the Astros. That's like if I was like, they were like, hey, Dodgers Nation did something really bad, and I was like, yeah, we did something bad. We messed up. It's like, nope, they messed up. They did it. They did. They found that they did it. There was an investigation. They did it. It's like, wow, you disassociated yourself from the team really quick there, bud.
Yeah.
So, obviously, man, they could not have timed up Astros Fan Fest any worse than they did.
The most
There's
ill-timed
no
thing. Like,
way.
at some point, you'd be like, ooh, sorry, there's really bad weather. The rain is going to rain. I mean, obviously, Minute Maid Park is an indoor stadium, so it would have made it even funnier.
Yeah.
But,
Jose Altuve caught on fire. We can't do it today.
Well, yeah, the buzzer sparked. I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, horridly uncomfortable. The only time they actually did say something that was slightly off script. And by the way, Bregman, every step of the way, when asked about something, never fully answered any question.
No, it was like, hey, you're very clearly just ducking every question and being as vague as possible about it. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
and then Altuve's interview, oh, dude, when he was just like, we're going to be back in the World Series. And it's like,
Yeah,
that's
bro.
probably not the route to go during this. There's a more diplomatic way to go about this interview. That
Rich
was rough.
Eisen actually he went pretty off on them, and I don't know, who does Rich Eisen work for?
NFL Network.
Okay, well, he's talking baseball, so I don't know. Rich Eisen show. He went off pretty nicely
Oh,
on
HBO.
them.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, yeah,
HBO, Skinamax, whoever
NFL
it is.
took him. Sorry.
Took him for a ride.
Took him.
But
Whatever. Sorry.
But Eisen created, or he prepared his own fake statement that the Astros should have done. It's like everybody anywhere realizes, like, if we're dumb enough to do this event, then we need to have something better than just the commissioner gave his report and the Astros did what they did, and I'm looking forward to next season. Like, no, that's not your freaking answer. It needs to be something better. It needs to be actually atoning or whatever, acknowledging the fact that you robbed yourself, you robbed peers, you robbed baseball, you robbed your own fans of the ability to be able to say, hey, you know what? We won this title fair and square. Like, and that's what we're going to get into a little bit more. Cooper, over in a couple minutes, Cooper, Big Swing podcast co-host, is also a resident of Houston, Texas. And while he's a proclaimed Astros fan, he does it because he's not that big of a baseball guy. He's a basketball guy, he's a football guy, but still he understands kind of the pulse a little bit of Houston sports. He knows what's going on there enough, so he's going to have a better idea than we are of how fans are feeling over there, because the fan takes have been a lot of oof.
So does that mean he's a James Harden fan?
Well, I mean, let's
Put it on the
be
sheet.
honest. Like, not all Houston fans are the fans we see on Twitter.
No,
You know, like,
and
there's
that's in the same way that
Yeah.
not all Dodgers
Not all
fans are
Dodger
when you see
fans,
on Twitter.
exactly,
I think
so-
there's a very bad misrepresentation of Astros fans on Twitter, especially if you guys are on Twitter and they happen to be the loudest ones. So
Yeah.
they're not all like that, guys. There's some good ones out there. And to be honest with you, a lot of Texans don't watch baseball, guys.
No.
They just kind of
It's
rode that
football.
wave.
It's a football
So
season.
I could ask a lot
football
of
town.
my family members that
State.
live in Texas anything about the Astros, and they'd be like, I don't really know who's on the team. But we won a championship. So,
Woo!
and that's okay. That's all right.
SD Dodger Tim has a very good question here. Is anybody surprised at Bregman's behavior?
Well, here's the thing.
Not even
He is
slightly.
a very what's a
Weasel.
diplomatic way to say
Weasel?
Dick.
he's a dick. He's very full of himself.
Yeah.
He's always talked so much trash throughout just his short time that he's been here.
Short time. That is at Brooke Meath.
I had to throw one little jab in there at him. I don't like him as a person, So he's really made a name for himself as like a trash talker, very full of himself. And all of a sudden the cameras are on him and he's not saying anything and he's acting like,
He
Commissioner
wants
told me.
to.
And it's like,
Oh, yeah.
say something, dude. Just say
Like,
it, please.
I don't know. I mean,
They got to
just,
put some good reporters
just,
in front of him.
just the human element
do
of,
it.
they should put
Send me.
Splashkey over there.
Oh yeah.
Just the
how
human
great-
element.
No,
how
get
great-
Hoonstra on him.
How great would that be just to send me over there, just to be in front of him and be like, so
No. It's like this.
Where's
it's like
Verlander, bro?
so Verlander's burner account, huh?
Yeah.
See commented on some of my tweets, huh? Did he see my fighting tweets? Huh?
Rob Haynes 22 says Altuve may lead the league for fastballs to the rib cage this season. And I mean, personally, I would assume probably Bregman more. But I mean,
Dude, he's a small target. He might get to the head.
I don't know, dude. I think Altuve is going to end up wearing more on him this year. To be
I would
honest
like to
with
take this moment to say that Dodgers Nation and Blue Heaven does not condone the striking of a ball player with
I
a
do.
baseball. But Brooke
I
does,
do,
and
personally.
Clint does, and Gary does.
I
But
like-
not Dodgers Nation or Blue
I
Heaven.
like,
No,
I like
yeah.
the idea of throwing at people.
All of
No, I think the Yankees.
all of
I
my
can't wait
thoughts
to-
are my own.
I mean,
All of their thoughts are
all
my
the
own.
Yankees pitchers need to like just chuck at not their heads, but their ribs.
yeah,
even-
go for their hip. That's
Even
fine.
Garrett Cole, if he wants to win
Throw
over
at Garrett Cole.
Aaron Judge. No, Like when
that
they
is a
match
good
up,
way to win over your new team.
Yeah, right?
Throw at your old team.
I still haven't. Does anybody know how much money Aaron Judge lost out on because Altuve took his MVP?
Follow-up question.
Billions.
Has anybody talked to Tyler White?
We're about to pull you in. Oh, we're going to find out. I mean, there's obviously going to be a lot like this. We will talk about this one more time at some point, beyond getting on the phone right now with Cooper in a minute. But spring training, the start of spring training is going to be awkward for a number of clubs, and I think right there at the top of the list is going to be Houston, Dodgers, and Yankees. There's going to be some uncomfortable questions. There's going to be some friendships strained, as you will.
I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, for those who don't know, Dave Roberts and AJ Hinch were whatever good buddies. Same with Alex Cora.
And we were at his house.
We went into a lot of Alex Cora last week and all that. I mean, that's beyond that. But right now, I'd say joining us on the phone. I'm not going to say it because I am excited. We're excited to be joined by he's going to be our Houston sports expert here. He's also a podcast superstar, and just to get him in a little bit of trouble, he's Ross Stripling's bestest friend in the whole wide world of all time. We got Mr. Cooper Surles joining us here on the podcast. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Man, that's a hell of an entrance. I need that on our podcast.
Hey, it's the horn that really seals the deal, I think.
Well, I know Ross has been asking about the soundboard for a while, and I was like, I can help you guys get a soundboard. It's like $20 on Amazon.
Oh, the horn is an absolute game changer. I'm hyped now.
See, I told you, man. That's what makes the difference on our podcast. No one comes on to hear our opinions. It's just the horn.
Yeah, it's just to watch us drink and play with the soundboard. But all right, man. Obviously, we're bringing you in here. I've wanted to have you on the show at different points in time, and what better time than to have the representatives of the two cities most involved in this uncomfortable and awkward scandal going on in baseball. But just right off the bat, I know, and I will once again preface that all thoughts that Cooper has are his own. They don't represent Ross. They don't represent the podcast. They don't represent the Houston Astros or the Los Angeles Dodgers. No, these are people talking baseball right now. What are your sort of initial thoughts and where do you stand on this today versus when it started and all that? Like when it first was announced, where are you standing on this?
Yeah, I like you kind of mentioned, I'm from Houston. I grew up a huge Astros fan. Here lately, as of the last 4, 5, 6 years, hadn't been following them as much as I did. And then, of course, now with Ross and the podcast and everything, I've kind of been an adopted Dodgers fan as well. So I think I can see both sides on this. But, when I first heard it, I kind of was like, hey, everyone's cheating. That's how baseball is. It's been a culture of cheating for a long time. People have operated in the gray area.
Right.
But as I've learned more information, man, it's just it's kind of confusing to me that the Astros, as good as they are and as talented that young team is, and they built it the right way, that they'd be so arrogant to bring in this cheating when they just didn't need it. I think that they could have been in that position and won games in the playoffs and got to a World Series without all the cheating. So it's just it's kind of pisses me off how arrogant they were in that approach.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the talent level on their team, and that's definitely one of those teams where you're like, yep, they probably didn't really need to cheat. They didn't really need to get by with that. There are definitely teams that are in the playoffs where you're like, the A's probably need to cheat a little bit just to get ahead. But yeah, I think we kind of had the same initial thought over here, where when we first started seeing stuff roll out gradually, we were kind of like, yeah, to an extent, every team cheats. Every team does some of the gray area stuff. It happens. It's probably one of those things. So initially, we kind of wrote it off. We're like, this isn't anything. This isn't anything worth paying attention to. But the more that came out, the more it was like, whoa, there's something here. And I think our initial fear was it's going to unearth like a lot more about baseball, not about the Astros entirely. It's like, you see like Trevor Bauer talking all the time about, his thing was like, pitchers using substances on, and I was like a gray area for a while, but also the way he talks about it is like, oh, this sounds like a very real thing. Obviously we're not in baseball, so we don't know any of that, but I think our biggest fear was like, what else are we going to find about baseball that we don't want to know? Because we don't want to know it.
Not the greatest PR offseason for the MLB.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's been rough for them. But the weird thing too is similar to the Dodgers, the Astros have been at the forefront of all the analytics to begin with. So,
Right.
I think a lot of those guys had a more high-level approach at the plate and were analytically driven to begin with. So it seems like, like I said, similar to the Dodgers, they kind of have a built-in edge with that. So it's weird that they would then kind of push the envelope and go further into that gray area.
Absolutely, and kind of getting on that with just more being unearthed in baseball, and really, I mean, I do feel we've kind of hit the tip of the iceberg with this. I would not be surprised to see. Well, I mean, we're seeing whispers of what is it, Congress possibly getting involved again with baseball, much like they did with the steroid era and the Mitchell report. So you wouldn't be surprised to see something coming down and sort of Manfred's head roll a little bit, because this wasn't the first time that somebody said, hey, this team, they're doing something a little funky. And there were clubs that asked Major League Baseball to look into it. Nothing happened, and then it took somebody who was there in the boys club, as Pedro Martinez is calling it now, but somebody that was in there to sort of unearth it to the Athletic and all that, and sort of blow this up. So yeah, again, just bad, uncomfortable, and I really honestly think it's going to get a lot worse.
So I'm kind of curious to hear what y'all think about this, and excuse me if y'all have already talked about it, but as far as the titles being negated and like the 17 and possibly 18 titles being negated, the way that I see that really is like, what does it do for anyone? Because like a lot of debates in this time and age, it's, whatever argument you're arguing, you're just getting further entrenched in that argument. So,
Right.
Astros fans will still rationalize that they won the 27 World Series, and
Yeah.
Dodgers fans will still think they're the champs. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what negating it's really going to do for anything, but how do y'all feel about that as Dodgers fans?
Yeah, I mean, there's this unfortunate, I don't know if you've heard like LA City Council putting in, a thing to Major League
Yeah.
Baseball. The funny part is you look at that and you can pull all Dodger fans, and I'd say probably 98% of them are like, what in the hell are they doing? We do not want that. Like, we don't want that at all.
Polls
Most
are
of
already
us-
immediately
most-
out there. Yeah, like
Yeah.
no, 90%. One poll had 90% no. Like that's
We
stupid.
don't want that ever.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. Who wants to be handed something like that later, first of all, which is not realistic at all. That'll never happen.
I'm down for the parade
But-
just to call it a party. But
Yeah. I mean, you talk about stripping their World Series titles. Yeah, you're exactly right. No matter what you do, the fan base is still going to say, hey, yeah, we won that. Like, they made a big deal out of it and they took it away from us. But yeah, we won that. And when, it doesn't make sense. There's no point to it. It doesn't really accomplish anything. It doesn't get anything done. I think one interesting point that was brought up to me about the Astros in particular was that, I'd rather let them have it, let them keep it. Don't take it away from them, but we'll know. We'll always know.
Right.
And I was like, all right, that's good. That's all right. I'll take that. I have no problem with that. You're right, though. It doesn't accomplish anything taking it away.
My quick fix. Okay, well, to answer your question, Cooper, it's no. Yeah, I think vacating it's still just a bad look. I don't want the Dodgers. Absolutely, don't want the Dodgers to be awarded 2017, or for some reason they're trying to get 2018, even though they're saying there's so far no hanky panky in the postseason there with the Sox, but. With 2017, either no, I don't want a fake ring. I don't want a fake trophy. The whole point of the World Series is being able to celebrate it, and you got something for your accomplishment as a fan of sticking out with this team, and you get to party now with friends, family, all that stuff, and get tore up, and then feel bad the next day because you had too much. But I think vacating is also it's a little too collegey for me. Like that's not enough. I don't know. I mean,
hey Cooper, this is Gary.
Yeah.
I think they gotta vacate it. I mean, it's not
Really?
fair. Yeah, it's like Astro fans will always hang their hat on that, and then time will allow it and be more. Time will allow it to be more tolerable. And I think
Right.
that's the part where I don't like it. It's just that you cheated. It's like you cheated on the SATs and you got a full ride to Harvard, and then you get to keep your degree. It's like, it's not fair. You cheated to get that degree, and now you're getting bomb-ass jobs because of that degree. Mm-hmm. It's like the ripple effect of having that championship still attributed to your franchise. That ripple effect is always going to be there. They can always say they're 2017 champs because it's officially recognized. That's the problem that I have.
I have one fix, and it's the surefire ultimate Band-Aid quick fix. Not even Band-Aid. It's a cement solid fix, and that's an asterisk on Wikipedia, because that is the ultimate. That is the ultimate way of knowing something.
I can make that happen for you. I donate $3. Yeah.
Donated this $3 to make it.
You're one of the donators. Thank you for your service.
Come on, man! I got to keep it going. It got me through college. I got to do it.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I think
shout out to me.
One nice gesture the Astros franchise should do is provide at least some of the playoff bonus that they earn from winning the World Series.
I mean, I think there's some sort of donation that would
to the players that lost out on it. Because think about it,
money.
No, I mean some of these players make $600,000 in a year, right? And then that bonus was what, $482,000.
World Series bonus.
Yeah, think about it. 2/3 of your salary is that bonus. That's a lot of money. And
2/3 of my salary.
They got cheated out of it. So there's little things that I wish they would do, and I think that's what they're missing out on right now, and that's why everyone's getting mad.
Like, let's also not forget something, and I'm going to defend the Astros a little bit here. Of course, what they did, obviously, there's no defense for that. But, the Dodgers had a home game, Game 7, to win that series, and they didn't win. The Astros also won Game 2 of that series. And if you want to talk about winning at home for the Astros, the Dodgers beat the Astros in Game 4 of that series in Minute Maid. So
yeah, but they should have Game 5 is the one. The Game 5 is the game.
Game 5 is the
biggest if that seller. Game went like we hit the balls on that one. We did well in that game, but then it was amazing. That was
every bit great. Of like a 2017 Dodgers game.
Yeah. That was the one we were going to win.
So many runs, and it's like one of those prototypical blowouts or whatever that team had so often. And then to see Clayton Kershaw, who's obviously on record as not being the most clutch, I guess we'll call him in the postseason, but still, Clayton Kershaw does not blow a 4 and a 3-run lead. So,
well.
But does that
that still doesn't take away the Astros winning? Hitting a game tying home run. Was it Marwin Gonzalez hitting game tying home run off of Kenley at Dodger Stadium? No, and it doesn't take away the fact that the Dodgers had an opportunity at Game 7. You don't know.
And the Game 4,
the
Game 4 too. Are we to assume that the Astros didn't cheat in Game 4?
No, that one's been heavily reported on. That Alex Wood, who started in that game,
mixed it up.
Yeah, they mixed up signs to just a ridiculous proportions.
I think
he hit them for 5 innings.
He did, yeah. I think the roughest part is that, I mean, when you look at it as a Dodger fan, hearing this after the fact, you're almost like, man, I wish the Astros would have swept them, because that's a lot tough. That's a lot easier of a pill to swallow. Where it's like, if we're talking about the Red Sox, like if they had been cheating in the World Series. Even if they hadn't, I think they would have ran through the Dodgers in that series. We knew, going into that series, we don't really stand a chance in this series, guys. Like,
we weren't
this
supposed to make
is a good team. We weren't supposed to be here. You look at the Astros and you're like, that series, we're a good team. Like, we stood there. We traded blows with them game after game. And so for us as Dodger fans, it was like, crap. I mean, we were really close and we blew it. But then now knowing this, it's like, man, that's tough. That's tough to swallow.
You already said, Cooper, we know the Astros were already at that point a very talented ball club, but that one extra little that one extra little edge. And, that's not to say that if fastball or changeup is coming that you're going to guaranteed hit a home run or whatever. We've seen a few of the, alleged whistles or whatever from John Boy. They were hit to outs in center field or whatever it was, but doesn't guarantee the win, but sure damn helps. And ultimately, I think the feeling will always be for both sides. Like, was it just the talent, or was it just, or was it, aided by technology? But the important takeaway, as we're talking about specific games and series at Minute Maid Park, it's important to note 2 scoreless innings thrown by Ross Stripling at Minute Maid Park that World Series.
That's what we're talking about.
That's the important thing.
Also, almost gave up a grand slam to George Springer, but we're not going to.
Hey, we don't talk about bad things here. Come on, Coop.
There's about 3 feet to the left or right that would have been a grand slam. So listen, we may not be talking right now if that happens.
Listen, Coop, when we pull sound clips, we're going to pull that one from this podcast, just so you know.
That's fine.
Email to Ross immediately.
I think. No, sorry. I was just gonna say, I think, like you brought up, if it was 4-0, then I think that would honestly be validation for you guys, knowing that, yes, the cheating really mattered. We got swept by these guys. We lost every game at Minute Maid. So, like, I think the story is not fully written until we can see what the Astros do this year without the competitive advantages. So, like, let's say they win 100-plus games and get back to the World Series this year. You know what? I mean, like, are you going to have to eat your words a little bit? Like, what's going to happen then, knowing that maybe it didn't really affect it to the level we thought it did?
It's going to be interesting to, that was one of the things that I had thought about in my mind. I was like, if they come out and win 100 games this year, it's like, whoa, that's, not that it necessarily takes away from the fact that they cheated in 2017, but it is like see, exactly. They were a good enough team to not do that. So it's almost like they really shouldn't have done that. They could have won.
But the only reason that would make sense is if all variables stay the same. That means a young Bregman is, I want the 2017 confident Bregman. Then that he's not as confident as he is now. I want the Altuve without the MVP now. I want a city that's not confident and has never ever won a World Series now. That's what I want, because
for sure.
That's the thing that doesn't really get talked about a lot. I mean, a little bit, but the mental state of certain players in the Dodgers organization that have been affected because of this cheating, that is never going to be accounted for in terms of monetary value or historic value, like properly. Like Kershaw's career went down the drain because of that.
I mean, that's
Kenley Jansen,
he's making $35 million.
Yeah, he is. But Kenley Jansen, you can chart his performance. It fell off a cliff. You can look at the criticism Friedman gets, Caston gets, and Dave Roberts gets, and the confidence.
Yeah, but still, with all of that, that's getting a little bit out of the scope of a few games in Houston. We're talking about 3 games in Houston. You can't say that completely derailed.
Well, how do we know that was just that? It was just that series that they said they cheated on. I think if you have the confidence of knowing, the series that we saw was the Chicago White Sox, Toronto Blue Jays, all the clips that we heard, the whistling and the trash cans.
It wasn't just different during the season and all that. I mean, obviously there's so much to unpack from that, but the one thing that we know, Alex Bregman told us that the commissioner gave a report and the Astros did what they did and all
really
that.
Really insightful.
But you're right, Cooper. The only thing the Astros can do right now is just win.
It's just play.
If we're the Astros,
two things. They need to issue a legitimate statement about, you know what we did was effed up. We're sorry. We're here to just play ball now. Like they're going to work on some sort of statement. I think there was something that came from one of the Houston local writers there that there's plans. Jim Crane is working on a statement. Why it wasn't before FanFest, you never know. But
they just said that. I just saw an alert that they said that they're going to apologize from the players. The players are going to apologize at spring training.
Yeah.
Apparently.
To who?
So I don't know. But you bring up a great point about that. Like, it makes me really sad for the actual players that were affected by this, because I brought it up jokingly about Ross, but let's just assume that the Springer knew exactly what was coming, and that ball is 3 or 4 feet left or right, and that's a grand slam in the World Series. We'd probably never see Ross again, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
No one's ever going to have confidence having him in a big spot ever again. And it's a difference of a couple inches that if that thing's not dead center, Ross's career possibly could be over. So,
he's not a 2018 All-Star. He doesn't make as much as he makes in arbitration this year. It just it changes so much
of
a career, and it's just really tough. And again, where I feel bad, like you feel you don't like the fans, the Houston fans, or really any baseball fans who are like, whatever, they got away with it, or it is what it is, let's just move on. But you do feel for the fans that actually do have general remorse for it, and you feel for the fans that how am I trying to word this? That are really just embarrassed. Like, you opened up this conversation with, but I don't know.
I just think that this conversation needs to be had about all the effects that cheating does. Like, it's not just the person who cheats and beats that one person, and then this person wins, this person loses. It's the fans who lost out on all the experiences that they could have had. It's the players whose compensation they could have gotten a lot more. And we all know what a moment in the World Series can do for one player. Like, look at Kirk Gibson, look at Dennis Eckersley, look at like who's that one player whose ball went through his legs against the
Or like
Mets?
Freeze,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
Freeze,
You know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But, just talking to people in Houston over the last week or so, you hear both. I've had some people tell me, oh, well, everyone's cheating. We're just ones that got caught. But honestly, most people have been really hurt by it, I think. This team was really special for Houston. It happened in a time where Harvey devastated a lot of the city, and it really was a source of hope for the city, and people really got behind this team. Like I said earlier, it was built from the ground up, and people really love this team. So when all this news came out, I had one guy tell me today, he's like, man, I just feel like they lied to me. I just feel like everything I thought was true isn't true. And so, a lot of people, this guy I talked to today at lunch was like almost getting emotional talking about it. People really cared about this team. And
no, remember that.
It's embarrassing.
We couldn't. I remember our staff in 2017 was a little bit different from what we had right now.
Completely, but okay.
Yeah, completely. But I was still there. I remember we didn't want to talk anything about the hurricane. We just wanted to support, wanted to make sure that donations or whatever, like that part of the human side of it, we wanted to support. And even when we lost in 2017, I think a lot of fans were like, it's okay. They just got their city busted.
Yeah.
Good for them.
That was, good. It was such a good story. But then now, that makes it even worse.
Yeah,
because
it really
and
is
that
just
all it adds up.
A gut punch as a fan. I would feel. I mean, we've been asked that by Dodger fans too. It's like if the shoe was on the other foot, how would you feel? And I would be livid at my team. I mean, I'd still be there opening day because I enjoy baseball, but it's just still so tough.
Yeah, when you like break past some of the louder Astros fans on Twitter that just want to be jerks, like that happens with any fan base. There's always going to be a loud part of the fan base that nobody likes. Dodgers fans have plenty of that. Like we experience them every single day, I think.
Yeah.
But when you really get to the fan that was like, this is my team and I love them and this sucks, and it's like, wow, yeah, I feel for you, man. That's painful.
So
I'm gonna
go ahead.
I'm gonna break some huge news that that no one would have ever thought, but I've learned this week. People on Twitter don't always represent everyone else.
No, is that true? I don't know if that's true.
Crazy, but I just found this out this week. So.
It's funny how you can get stuck in that little vortex of Twitter.
I didn't know you were a dirty liar, Cooper. What the hell?
Yeah, well, this is breaking news here, guys. Sound the alarm.
Well, now we know.
Oh, I'm tweeting it right now.
So, we had our side of it. What do we as Dodger fans or baseball fans feel is fair as the next step for the ball club? Like, what would you personally like to see happen next, Coop?
Well, the problem is that I don't know if there's a way to prove from a player's perspective how involved or not involved certain guys were, because I would hate to, I hate as a whole they need punishment, and I think they received it, and I think that was just. But let's say Altuve was not one of the people cheating, just as an example. If he is blanket across the board, this roster is punished, and we taint his legacy over the course of these last 5 years, that's unfair to him when he wasn't necessarily participating in it. Mm-hmm. And I also feel bad for maybe some of the younger guys that were kind of thrust into this culture and felt like that was what they had to do to, fit in and get ahead in the organization. So, I think that it's a slippery slope to go and punish the players. So I think what they did as far as punishing the coach and front office for like a systematic approach to cheating, I think that's really the best approach for it. And unfortunately, at this point, I think we're just going to have to move on and hopefully this kind of deters other teams from doing the same thing.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about it a lot, and I think I'm one of the few that was like, I'm actually okay with the punishment that was handed out in the first place. There's no precedence for anything like this, and even the act itself is still technically a gray area. It's not. It's never something that's really been ran into before. So when you're
supposed to set,
I understand that, but if you're just gonna like string up the first team that does it and make an example out of them, it's not exactly fair. And Major League Baseball has a history of being really bad about that. Yeah, like really bad at it in general.
Especially when they've pretty much caught the Astros prior to this and just gave them a slap on the hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And so I think that, that to come back and then, do all these new punishments and everything after the fact wouldn't really be just. But
Right.
I'm with you. I think when I initially saw the report on it, I was like, okay, that's fair. That's what I would have thought should happen.
Did
But I don't know.
did you expect them to let Hinch go as quickly as they did?
No, I don't think that was a big surprise for a lot
You
of
got to
people.
pay for the
in Houston.
$5 million somewhere.
Yeah, I think that they had no choice. I think honestly, what it was a conversation with the MLB to say, hey, we can either punish you this amount and you fire Hinch, or we can throw another couple draft picks on top of this. I think that was a
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. I'm sure it had something to do with it. But I mean, even looking at it, like, it seems like a lot of Astros fans were like, why did we do that? Why did we let him go? And it's like, looking from the outside perspective, we're obviously not Astros fans over here, but we were like, yeah, that's probably the best thing that you could have done in that situation is let those two guys go, because you really just got to start fresh somehow.
Thinking about this,
I think so.
Thinking about this conversation now, I wonder if that was sort of Rob Manfred giving Crane an out to sort of save face. So like, look, I'm just going to say they're suspended, but your ass has to fire these guys.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I honestly think the same thing. I mean, it seems like it was a conversation because it happened so quickly and really without conversation, it seemed like. So it felt like it was a package deal, sort of.
Follow-up question: do you think Hinch ever has a job in baseball again?
I don't think so. I think that we may be seeing him on like the Tulsa Drillers or something.
Follow-up question on that. Will Houston Astros fans ever see that World Series trophy come out?
Ooh, man.
That's rough.
I don't know.
Yeah, because at every other
keep
team that does that, they always bring it out for
Well,
FanFest, for
they-
pit photos and everything. But do you bring it out?
They left the trash can out at FanFest
Yeah.
allegedly. So.
That's
No, but
terrific.
that's the thing. See, I think there's only one thing left to do, and this is for Crane and Crane only, to put that World Series trophy outside the stadium and just leave it alone and give it away. And you cannot. It'll go into
Charity. Give it to charity.
give it to charity or something like that. But it does
Don't
not.
just leave it out there, Gary.
That is just symbolic. I mean, MLB won't do anything, but if Crane just does not display it, does not leave it, that's a gesture. I think that would be that's done.
See,
It's the exclamation point.
the
It's
problem
done.
is that's good for all the rest of baseball. That's terrible for his fan base. And
Yeah,
I mean,
but
honestly,
here's the
you gotta
is
take
it?
care of
Is
your
it?
fan base.
I mean, what do you
Yeah.
think? What percentage
so.
do you think? What, like Cooper, you probably know. What percentage of the fan base do you think is embarrassed of this, where they don't even want to touch that World Series trophy?
I bet it's I don't know, 40% are embarrassed, 60% are kind of like still trying to figure out how they feel, but I think people wouldn't want to give it up. But if they do drop it off, here's what I'll do. I will take the big swing to the next level and be an LA martyr and take it to LA, and you guys can destruct it.
I mean,
Just
talk
put it
about
in the-
YouTube
yeah.
views, man. Holy cow.
With
Yeah.
the whole series.
I'll be an LA sensation. I'll go up in city council like those two surfer dudes.
All those surfer dudes were gold.
You love those, didn't you,
Oh,
Clint?
those dudes are those are my heroes. All right,
What up,
man.
city council?
What's up, bros? I'm here to party. In the immortal words of some dudes, fight for your right to party, bro.
It's Chad and JT. That's who it is.
Oh, man.
Oh, local legends. Well, I know it's late for you, man, so I do have just one more question that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I know you and Ross are going to get into it more probably in an upcoming big swing here, but the final thoughts, who's winning Super Bowl 54, heard here first.
Man, it's a great game. I think I'm happy with the result. It's rare that we get, I think, the two best teams in there. Oftentimes, you'll see a wild card team make it or someone that doesn't deserve to, but I think these are the two best teams we've seen all year at their peaks. So I'm going to take the Chiefs. It just seems like they're at a level right now where no matter what's happening in the game, they're going to run off 40 points in a row. So I think it's going to be a close one, and I'm curious to see if Jimmy Garoppolo throws for over 100 yards. But, I'm gonna take the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. It's a good story. Get Andy Reid a Super Bowl.
Thank you.
And start Patrick Mahomes' legacy off right.
I'm an
There you
Eagles
go.
fan, so I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for Andy Reid. And
Oh, those final 2 minutes in the last Super Bowl.
hey, too soon, man.
Dude, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm
Andy-
still mad at that.
And he won the AFC Championship game with 3 timeouts.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Good for him, Andy Reid.
And
Good old
hey, you know what?
Andy Reid.
Homie can crush a hoagie, so you gotta love
for
Andy
sure.
Reid. Well, we got a friend of the show here, Cooper Surles. Thank you for hanging out with us, Coop. Tell people where to find you on the internet, and tell people all about a little bit more. I mean, people know so much about Big Swing from us, but we want to hear it from you. Give them a pitch.
Yeah, so we're actually doing a live podcast in Scottsdale at the Baseballism store February 22nd. So hopefully you guys can make it out there, and we can get some people to come out and watch. And then also you can find me at Cooper Surles on Instagram and Twitter, and then at Big Swing Podcast on both those platforms as well. So pumped to be on the show, guys. I really appreciate you having me on.
Hey, man. Hey, I know it's late, so get some sleep. Thanks for hanging out with us, bud.
All right, guys. I'll get depressed after this conversation. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Cooper. Appreciate it,
All
man.
right, see y'all.
So next up, Fam Squad. Fam Squad.
Excuse me.
Sorry, I was just saying words that came to my head while I was, hanging up the phone call here because.
How did you feel about this next part? You personally? You got two former Dodgers jumping in, throwing Alex Cora under the bus, and then backing back over him. How did you, as a longtime Dodger fan, feel?
I would never say that I was like a crazy Alex Cora fan.
Has anybody ever been an Alex Cora fan?
But damn, did I love watching him and his tourist. We've had that same sentiment before. Having AC and his tourist turn double plays up the middle. It was so much fun. I was at the 18 pitch home run game off Matt Clement and the Cubs.
Congratulations!
It was one of my biggest life accomplishments. But for two people, sort of, I would say Loney was the most unprovoked, in a sense, deleted tweet, but. Loney and Green essentially sharing the same sentiment, like, you know what, good guy, smart guy, very much would do whatever it took to win. And it butters my onions, it ruffles my pigeons. I don't know. What do the
ruffles
kids
your
say?
pigeons?
Shut up.
How
and
many
go
pigeons
with it.
do you have?
Shut up and go with it, bruv. Anyway,
Ruffles my pigeons.
I don't know. I'm trying to make up shit here, man. Make it fun. But
anyways,
it was a lot. But yeah, screw Alex Cora.
Yeah, screw Alex Cora.
I think that's the general narrative.
James Loney's my friend in DMs, so I support him in everything that he does. Except for the fact that he's a dirty, rotten traitor now.
Yeah. Diamondbacks higher. We'll get him on soon enough. Talk NL West for 2020.
We had to squeeze in Cooper before we could get James Loney on the show, obviously.
Too many legends for to be friends of the show. We got to send Coop a friend of the show shirt now.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Take us like 3 months. But.
One important note. Obviously, whenever we have guests on, it's tough to get through a lot of the comments. We see you guys going off. We appreciate you guys all so much here hanging out with us on the live stream side. We do have now a second podcast that's audio only. It's only a podcast
for the week.
During the week. It comes out on Fridays. So what we're doing after this is we're going to still hang out here and just kind of go through your comments and sort of make sure everybody gets some love and provoke some thought here on Blue Heaven and Dodgers Nation. Just like Mom used to make.
Yeah, so get those questions in because we're going to eventually answer them. We're going to go all the way back to the top of the chat and then go through it.
Hopefully.
If it works.
Hopefully.
We're still trying to figure out some of that stuff. But we know people on Twitter.
We know technology good.
We do technology.
We tried.
To get into a few of the comments we have here. We got Mary C20 says Reddick cannot award game belt for one season as a punishment.
Cannot award
game belt because they did that.
Speaking
he's
of which,
also not allowed to wear any Speedos.
If you happen to be listening, Josh Reddick, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, man.
How many letters are in FU?
I want to fight him so bad, Gary.
Wait, okay.
Yeah, we went to that Astros game where he was letting him have it. Remember?
He was right there.
Oh man, it was so fun.
Who do you want to fight more, JV? I mean, you already have a broken nose.
I told them if they want to fight me both at the same time, I'm willing to do that.
Look how tough Brooke is. He's doing this show with a broken nose. Imagine when they're doing a fight.
I've never wanted to fight somebody more in my life that I haven't met. Personally, I would like to fight both of them so hard.
Let's go live stream. Who wins? Who should Brooke fight more, Josh Reddick or Justin Verlander?
Well, Justin Verlander has to ask permission from Kate Upton to fight, first of all. So there's that.
Brooke is a solid 6 feet. What, 165, 175?
I'm almost 190.
190? Oh, sorry. I'm like 230, so I have no idea.
Sorry, I know there was a porker next to me. Anyway.
So Anyways, if you're listening,
We got JRoach_909 says hashtag everybody is catching these hands in 2020.
that's what I told him. Yeah, everybody.
New friend of the show. I don't know. I've seen Jay Roach popping up a lot on my tweeters.
Jay Roach
And
is becoming a one of the staples.
yeah,
of
he
Blue
been
Heaven podcast.
he been good.
So
Jose Rod
appreciate you,
05
bud.
says read dick.
Excuse me?
Read dick.
He's just reading.
Dermcree? Is that how you say it? Dermcree? We got DRMKRY on
Dorm-
Periscope saying Reddick because he was a Dodger, so you get to fight Reddick. Verlander might just apparently buy you off to get out of the fight.
I'm down.
That's reasonable.
I can
Perez
be
called
no.
me delusional.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
Perez also said
Totally
Brooke
get it.
is such a man. You know,
Our one Twitch user.
Our one Twitch
Appreciate
user.
you, bud.
Yo,
Make sure you guys subscribe to us
all
on
of
Twitch.
Twitch says that you're such a man.
I just
He's
signed
such
up.
a man.
I just signed
TV.
up for Twitch.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Hey,
I've never used Twitch
sign up
before.
for my
Your
new
Mario Kart channel?
Mario Kart channel.
I'm
Hey,
gonna-
just Mario Kart.
I got to learn how to.
Just mute him.
I got to learn how to.
You're not hawking your shit.
You're hawking. Just Mario Kart on Twitch. Thank you.
I need some of your tips and tricks because my wife is getting a lot better at Mario Kart and I'm afraid to lose to her. So
I got okay.
I don't want to lose to her.
All right, so
Yeah.
this part's probably going to be cut out of the podcast, but I got to
Keep it
say, I'm proud of Gary for having switched by now to the host camera instead of having the Cooper one. So I was expected to look over just now and see it. And
No, I can push buttons.
Did you? We just got tagged in this. Did you see the Flyers, the Philadelphia Flyers? Their weird mascots.
Gritty?
He's banging.
JT Gritty?
He's banging an Astros trash can at the game. It's pretty great.
Here it is, right here. There's
Thank
that
you for
trash can.
tagging us in that Juan Ochoa.
All right, guys. We're getting on in the show here, and we have some other stuff. So we'll probably save. I think we'll probably save maybe the Anaheim thing for the other show. I don't know. We'll figure it out right now. But
This guy just roasted me.
did you deserve it?
He said Brooke is the manliest dude with a chick's name. Oh, get wrecked me.
You know what? I mean,
Could be worse.
he's got a point.
Yeah, he got me there.
So, the other biggest, I guess, story in baseball right now, and I think the Astros and baseball is happy that something else drama is going down. Nolan Arenado really wants out of Colorado. He really wants out of Coors Field. This was
would
wholly,
too.
yeah. And who likes, like the people who like Colorado probably
haters.
like Miami.
Oh.
See what I did there? Hi, Perez.
Oh, because he's Denver and Miami. Wait, look at you connecting the dots on things.
You know, I haven't had that much to drink yet, but
Yeah.
Arenado. So obviously, I would say majority of the offseason, Arenado has been involved in trade rumors, most heavily to other teams, but occasionally to the Dodgers. Most of the time, writers were immediately quick to refute or to point out the fact like they're not going to trade interdivision. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to send your franchise icon to the team that has won the division 7 years in a row, the team that made you a wild card team in Game 163 in 2018. You're just not going to do that. You're not going to.
But
I mean, that GM is he's mad dumb. He big dumb.
here's the thing, though.
Jock
You have
Peterson's
the
really
opportunity
good.
to make them not as good 5 to 10 years from now.
Sorry, I got distracted by a
Somebody
very
say something
important
about me?
Nola Frito on Periscope. Brooke, would you fight Reddick and Altuve at the same time if Altuve rode on Reddick's shoulder?
Like a chicken fight.
Chicken fight.
If we have an animator that can draw that up for me, I would appreciate that a lot.
Eddie. No.
Eddie's
All right,
busy.
this is it. Graphics off.
Yes.
See who can do it better.
Graphics off.
Yeah. Yeah, so things really went south quick there in Colorado.
Dude, he signed his 8-year contract last year.
11 months ago. It was.
To turn-
I think it
to-
was
to-
It was February 24th, 2019, is what I believe the number was.
And then by
The date.
September, was it
already
September-ish where he
bitching.
was like,
Yeah.
we're going to lose 90 games this year. And that's not what I signed up for. And
He
it was
said
just
it's
like,
not
Well,
it's not what I
technically,
signed.
it's not what
It's
he signed
not,
up
no.
for. He
yeah,
had a great team.
he was one
Yeah.
win away from being a very good playoff team,
Yeah.
potentially.
But
potentially.
then what happens in Colorado reared its head, which is you can't rely on your starting staff. That's
Well,
what
yeah.
happened.
Young starting staff. Yeah, they all
Well,
die.
no, the thing is, nobody wants to pitch in Colorado, so
No.
you can't
Except
bring
for Mike Hampton.
You can't Mike Hampton. Yeah, you can't bring in free agent pitching to Colorado. It's just not going to happen. Nobody wants to pitch there. That's where like Wade Davis went to die. I'm pretty sure. But no, you're not going to get good pitching out there because no one wants to pitch somewhere where their numbers are going to get all jacked up. So it makes sense that you have to home grow pitching talent, and they don't have that at all.
They have that one
guy,
pitcher.
John Gray.
No, there was another guy. The guy with
John Gray.
Is that him? The mullet?
Is that John? That's Charlie Blackmon.
No, yeah, you think it's Charlie Blackmon. He is not a pitcher.
No, they have one good pitcher that did well last
The guy with long hair.
Yeah,
that's John Gray.
Oh,
I was telling Mrs. FRG a couple days ago, I was like, you know who I'd really love to see traded to the Yankees is Charlie Blackmon, because that dude is just like, he's a completely different human being without the beard.
Yeah, he doesn't look nearly as
He
cool.
looks like the most just basic cookie cutter white boy. It's pretty embarrassing. But anyways, no one wants out of Colorado, so immediately all the media went off, including Dodgers Nation. We all went off talking about what does this mean? What does this mean? I mean, I guess we didn't say, hey, can he get traded here? We just said, hey, this is what's going on. I mean, often we don't start the stories with hey, but
Rockies still suck.
Rockies still suck. The conversation went, or the day went on Monday. Not Jim Crane. I got Crane on the
Kyle Freeland. They're pointing it out for me. I forgot about that.
Thank you, Perez. We appreciate you.
He only beats the Dodgers though. Nobody else.
And Frank Talk LA is helping. There was Herman as well. They had
German.
They had some people. Definitely, but
Oh
whatever.
yeah, the Rockies announcer kept on comparing Herman to
They had
Walker
bodies.
Buehler.
They had bodies.
I remember that.
They had human people names, but as soon, what was it? Within hours, I don't know what the time frame was, but eventually the Rockies GM pulled what's his name? Pulled Arenado off of the trading block, and he did it in I would say not the nicest of ways. It's like, you know, we just can't get a good enough deal for him, so whatever. He's going to be here in spring training. He's our guy. So not long after that is when verbatim the quote was, "There's a lot of," this is from Nolan Arenado, "there's a lot of disrespect from people there that I don't want to be a part of." You can quote that. And knowing Nolan Arenado, he's probably up in somebody's face, like he called up Nick Hundley to be really mad at him and scream at him about.
Then he threw a tub of Haichu at him.
Yeah.
Rip Haichu.
And they got a commercial out of it. And a new endorsement.
It's just bad. It's really bad. It's uncomfortable. And again, like I said, I'm pretty sure baseball's happy that this is going on. But
yeah. So with that being said, you know, there were rumors of what the Cardinals would potentially, or apparently did potentially offer for him. Obviously, that's going to go down, right? You would think his value's got to kind of plummet because they're not going to be able to posture because they know with this in mind, if he wants out, you kind of got to do what you can to get him out of there.
He wants out.
He might not.
He has a no-trade clause, so he has some control. But more importantly, he has an opt-out. I think it's after this coming season. If not, he has an opt-out within 1 or 2 years. I forget what it is. So
I think after 2021.
There's just not a lot that you're going to be able to get from...
Can we decide if he's an LA guy or not?
He is. You didn't see the picture
Forest.
of him? Oh, he
just
wants
like how
to be
Paul
here.
George isn't really an LA guy. Like,
Never heard of her.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, because the Clippers don't play here anyway. So
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I just wondered if he's an LA guy.
what even is the Clippers?
I miss the good old days when we had more people like unnecessarily in this office when we're doing the show, because Brooke and I are running dry. That's unfortunate right now.
Zed.
Zed, where you at? Did you guys see the? I really like the hot take that a Rockies podcast that one of our lovely writers has been blocked by said. So I'm proud of you, Jason. But Purple Dinosaur podcast. One of the points they brought up is how embarrassing this is for the organization and how bad it is, because if you can't, you're paying Nolan Arenado a lot of money to play baseball, and if he's that unhappy 1 year after signing this deal, and by the way, I equate this deal to people trying to, getting married to save the relationship or having a baby to save the relationship. No, signing an 8-year deal to save the relationship wasn't going to work. And we can see they have problems. They've had problems for quite some time. But Purple Dino podcast points out the other massive point that kind of relates a lot right now to Dodger fans is, quoting here, at least as this looks like from the outside, they destroyed the credibility, and now they have guys that are, I'm not quoting it anymore, they have guys that are like going to be searching for contract extensions. People like Trevor Story, David Dahl, Ryan McMahon, Brendan Rodgers, whatever. They have these players with human people names that
Justin Sellers.
They rest in peace, cell block. They have players that they would hope to retain on their club via contract extension. That you see somebody getting paid $28 million, $29 million a year, and he's that unhappy being there. It's tough. So you think that, and now you start looking at where I related this to, and a lot of other people did. You start looking at the Dodgers and this paltry $675,000 difference between them, their offer and Max Muncy's offer in arbitration. It's like we talked about it a little bit last week on our second show. It's not about the now. It's about the 3 years down the line. It's like, you know what? I'm going to test free agency. F y'all. You guys didn't think I was worth that extra money, even though I am second on the list of most home runs in my first 2 years in Los Angeles. So I don't know. There's just you have those thought-provoking things that other people might say, and you really hope the Dodgers don't get themselves painted into a corner like this with somebody like Cody Bellinger.
I don't think that's why they have this Max Muncy situation to prevent the Arenado situation.
Right.
That's what they're doing.
It's a way different thing, though. It's not a matter of I don't want to pay you. It's a matter of this is a business and we're going to run it like a business. It's not necessarily that you don't deserve it. It's that, hey, we're going to do it like we've done it with every other player that we've ever done it with. We're going to make sure that everyone is paid fairly. We're not going to give you money just because you want money. We're going to establish it and make sure that it's done well. He understands that, and his agent understands that. Yeah. His agent, again, is the one who brought this forward and said, this is the money we want. Max Muncy didn't say, this is the dollar amount I want. This is his agent.
Jose Rod 05, thank you. Mike Piazza stuff. This is what happened with Piazza. I mean, not quite. I mean, obviously Piazza wanted the money, but it's sort of relatable in that regard where you fracture a relationship with somebody over something stupid, and
the Dodgers gave Max Muncy. The Dodgers made Max Muncy. Okay.
That funky Muncy.
Yeah, they did. They made him. They gave him a chance. They said, hey, no one else is buying on you. We're buying on you. Let's give you a chance. You're not going to take all of that, every chance that they took on you, the roster spot that they gave you, all of that. You're not going to take that and be like, well, they didn't pay me during arbitration as much as I wanted to be, so I'm not going to sign. It's not going to be anything like that. Did you read Trevor Bauer's AMA on Bleacher Report?
I haven't. I forgot that was happening.
So he talks about the arbitration process and like what, as a player, what you go through, and he kind of related it to like Max Muncy's situation, not directly, but like kind of like, hey, your agent brings forward that number most of the time. It's kind of discussed with you a little bit, but he's just basically like, trust me, I know, trust me.
Yeah.
Like, and he even brought up a point like teams will say like, we'll give you this much, and he's like, yeah, that sounds good, and he's like, no, trust me, we're gonna ask for more. We'll probably go to a hearing, but we're gonna ask for more because at the very least we're gonna get this. So he kind of brings that up. Players are in that hearing the entire time, and it's usually about a day. And he's like, yeah, it's really weird because you're not really talking. You're just there. You hear a presentation on one side, you hear a presentation on the other side. They deliberate. That's it. And I was like, man, what a weird process.
And
because they're not baseball arbitrators.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're like financial business arbitrators.
And the players know that the agents represent other players too.
Of course.
They're going to negotiate
Fake
with
news.
the team, right?
Of course, yeah.
I mean, they know the business that the agent has to look out for all his clients, not just one, and sacrifice one or all his clients just for the benefit of one.
Why do so many fans want Taiwan Walker? What's that about? Is it because of his taco truck?
No, because he's Taiwan.
It's a cool name.
I would probably
like a cool country.
I probably would have taken him over Jimmy Nelson. I'm happy with Jimmy Nelson. He's a nice guy.
You would have taken Taiwan Walker over Jimmy Nelson?
Dude, throws 99, bro. You can do something with that.
I mean,
I can't throw 99.
You know who else throws 99? Joe Kelly.
Never heard of her. Anyways, beyond all that, maybe I went on a bit of a reach, but I still see something relatable to that. But the important thing is Arenado wants out. We are probably smarter about this, but also at the same time, we would love to have the guy. Is it going to happen?
Well,
is it going to happen? And what do you trade?
In terms of the reality of him coming to LA, if I were to say percentages, I would say less than 10% if I want to be realistic about it. If we're going to play pretend and say what would we give up for him, there's a number of packages that we could deal to Colorado that they'd be more than willing to do that, are 100% going to be circled around pitching. Don't let anybody tell you any different. They're going to be centered around pitching. So you're looking at giving up a Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin-ish type of package that also includes Ross Stripling in it, and maybe Jock Peterson included.
As I say, I got an elite level first baseman. Elite level first baseman.
He can play first at Coors because it doesn't matter who you put out there at Coors.
Imagine, you guys know how Coors, like you remember back in the day, Todd Helton, and everybody, like the sun is directly in your eyeballs at first base to start most evening games. So I could just imagine Jock Peterson trying to do that.
Just like facing the wrong direction. So like, Jock, that way!
I've been watching some random, like, Sportsnet LA, what do they call them? Dodgers Rewind, old games. And for some reason, they keep showing games with Jock Peterson playing first, and it just pisses me off so much.
That was a hard time this year. That was
watching Jock Peterson play first was like watching Alex Bregman at Astros Buzzfest. That's how I read it. That's because I'm a first baseman. Anyway, Press 6019 says Jock is a platinum level first baseman. Hell yeah, Mimi big boy.
Kate had to jump in all the way from Australia to remind me that the Celtics won yesterday. So, thank you, Kate.
Go make more stickers.
She's a well-known Celtics fan, guys. In case you wanted to know.
Yeah, we met her at the party, right?
Yeah, Australia, Celtics. It all comes together.
Yeah, she's not a Celtics fan, but that's how I identify her now. Anyways.
Cool. All right. Well, I would say with where we're at, what do you guys want to do?
What?
I guess it was better to say.
Phase 2.
What is phase 2?
Podcast 2. End the show and just start answering questions.
Oh my gosh, it's 8 o'clock? 8:10? Woo!
Yeah, we got other stuff. So listen to our second show. We are on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. I always say it. I'm going to say it again in a second. But listen to our second show because we want to get to a lot more. Straight Nasty 23 gets the Jack's Films references. Thank you. I didn't think people would understand my problems with the world, Twitter for Android. But I think we got to talk a little bit too, beyond getting as many of the questions that we feel are worth getting into, because you guys have had some fire on here. I really do want to talk about more about the Astros thing, but Jessica Mendoza and her take and Pedro Martinez's take. So that's bad. So that's going to be on the next episode of the podcast, only podcast, not the video thing. And then, while we're still here, I think people really do want to talk about the idea of going to Anaheim to boo the Astros. I think we need to talk about that for the video's sake. And sorry enough for anybody who made it this far. Ray, the retro jacket, was given away way earlier in the episode, and you didn't win. I'm sorry, Ray.
You did not win, Ray. I apologize. Keep trying.
There's early rumblings of, and we have very different takes off air than we're going to say here. There are early rumblings.
I'll try my best.
Be a good boy. I understand you had one beer in High Life before the show, but still.
High Life.
There are rumblings of fans potentially heading down to Anaheim to boo the Astros as part of the Angels' home opening weekend. This is my initial take, and then I'll let y'all kind of dive into it. Right off the bat, I like that it would help the team, Anaheim, actually sell out their tickets for that series.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, it's charitable.
Plus, it would be funny just to see a sea of Dodger blue at Anaheim for their own freaking opening day. Like, if there can be more Dodger fans at what do they call it, Angel Stadium of LA?
Edison Field.
If there could be more Dodger fans at Edison Field Throwback Thursday, it would warm my blackened soul. But again, with that said, what does it accomplish?
Nothing.
Going down there, giving your money and indirectly your support for paying to see this team just for the sake of booing them. What do you get out of going to another stadium?
You get to support another Los Angeles team, Gary, right?
That's awesome.
Another LA baseball team.
You can help pay for Mike Trout's contract.
Never heard of her.
Yeah. No, I think it's, look, for some people, if they need to just let it out, because, I get it. Like, if I get frustrated, I go out of the office and just scream. I just need that release, right?
Or when you lose at Mario Kart.
Or when I
to
lose at
stand.
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
lose at
once in a
Mario
while.
Kart,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, like I get it, but you know, if people need to go do that, go do it. You know, I'm not that kind of person to do it. I just think that, you know, I want them to, any of them that show up at the All-Star game, that's going to be the platform. If you're going to plan something and save money for something, why not plan something for the All-Star festivities and then just go for it?
Like,
you know?
I'm definitely more of a proponent for voting for these dudes to be voted to the All-Star game. Getting Astros fans at Dodger Stadium, and we are proud of some of these comments that are coming down. Let's go. We got Wilfredo says that would be great. Okay, I mean, reasonable. You got Frank talk for us there, bud?
This is my favorite comment that I've had in the stream in a very long time. He said, "I heard Red Tone 714 ain't having it in 2020." Give it.
Yes.
Oh, where is it? We're giving him the clap.
Red Tone.
Oh, yeah, I love that
man,
Astros
that's so
traveling.
good.
that Astros traveling. I mean, Angels travel agency. Red
man.
Tone 714.
I mean, they do a great job. They do a great job. They want to keep it positive.
Red Tone 714.
Yeah, Red Tone or whoever.
Yeah, the Angels traveling.
Look, I'll talk about it.
No.
They said no. Wait, hold on.
Be a good boy.
I'm being a good boy. Like they said, they're gonna keep it positive. So let's see how they keep it positive. You know, like they want to show how hard Dodgers fans can travel. Go for it. You know, like I think you should never knock another group. If they want to do it and they can find enough people to do it and they help Anaheim make a lot of money while making money on their own, awesome. Like go for it. And then, you know, I just hope that people know that they don't represent all of the Dodger fans out there, because I think there's a lot of fans out there who don't think this is right. Like they're already talking about going to Anaheim and then going to Oakland. And then some people want them to go to Houston. I just would never spend that much money to go and just try to boo someone.
That's fair.
Doesn't make
but
sense, yeah.
Don't worry. Gin Rummies on Periscope says you get 4 free Angels tickets when you buy tortillas at Northgate. Well, if you guys want to go to the Angels home and opener, don't worry. Just go buy your tortillas at Northgate, and you get 4 free Angels tickets. And not sponsored by us. On the flip side of thing, you know, cooler heads and positive heads prevailing here. Maura O'Brien on Facebook says, "No booing, not cool. Promote what you love, not what you hate. As much as I'm angry about the cheating, still not cool." Agree.
Look,
I agree.
Listen. You're at an away stadium as an Astro, and fans are booing you.
I think
That's pretty much the
everywhere.
normal. That's pretty much the normal routine for players. They pretty much tune that out, guys. They're not hearing that. I wouldn't even give them too much on that. It's a different story if they get booed at home. That's different. But on top of that, All-Star Games in LA this year, fellas.
That's what everyone should plan
So we
for.
are launching a campaign to get the Astros to the All-Star Game. That's all I'm saying.
#RealFRG for Celebrity Softball Game 2020. Where are you at, Chris?
We need to really get you into that, man.
I would be so down. I'd get my ankle.
What,
you think you
worked.
could manage it?
Yeah, I don't need a glove. I just
Captain
want a
America.
Yeah. Moshe points out that the tickets are only $10 in Anaheim, so YOLO, I guess.
So we can all go.
All right, well, we've definitely gone on way too long, but we just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this for sure. But yeah, that's about it. Subscribe. You guys can find us. Actually, subscribe to Dodgers Nation, to be honest. We have a banger newsletter that puts out all of this hot content every day, so go ahead and do that thing. Find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. Subscribe to Blue Heaven on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, and so many more places.
I'm glad your voice got deeper by the end of the show. I'm me. I'm at BrookMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. You know, it's whatever, guys. Don't worry about it. This guy's at RealFRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy back in the corner, Mr. Gary Lee himself in the flesh. Give him a. There you go. That's good. We are at Dodgers Nation on Twitter, at official Dodgers Nation on Instagram. A reminder, we do have a second segment. It's not coming up right now, but you'll be able to hear it on our website.
And thank you to Cooper for coming hanging out with us. Make sure you subscribe to Cooper at
subscribe to Cooper
at Big Swing Podcast.
It's at Cooper
at cooper.org.
.com.
Anyways, thank you for hanging out with us, guys, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.